So this fine tree in front of me is a hornbeam tree. The scientific name is betulus. So this is St Thomas Park in the middle of April. So we're going to have a closer look at this fantastic specimen. So this is a very large hornbeam tree. Most of the ones I've seen through Exeter are half this size or smaller. Like I say, occasionally planted in parks and green spaces. A beautiful tree, and native as well, so we should really see more of these. So we'll have a closer look now. It is absolutely huge, this tree. Like I say, the amount of value to our wildlife, extremely high. So just going to get to the trunk and the bark, have a look at that first, and you can see, like I say, the top parts of the root system, as it were. Very lucky this park has got such a big hornbeam tree. So a few facts with hornbeam. As I said, it's a native of the UK. Often confused with beech trees because the bark is reasonably similar, although beech is typically smoother and grey. But it's the leaves that give it away. So beech leaves are more, I wouldn't say rounded, but smoother on the edges, and we'll look at them in a minute because, as I said, in April this tree has gone through its flowering and it's now opening up its leaves. I've just got to be careful because I'm in a park and there's obviously lots of little ones around, so I've got to try and film in a sensible place, not to get any young people in. So we'll have a look at the canopy now. You just get a sort of an idea just how gigantic this tree is. I'm having to really stretch to get to this. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. So we're going to try and look at the leaves now and the twigs and the branches. As I said, you've seen roughly the bark, the trunk and the very lower part of the tree. You can see some of it sort of spreading out. But as I said, underground will be a thriving network of root systems and the like. So now we're going to try to find a suitable set of leaves and twigs. Let's have a look, shall we? That one, I think, actually, if I can reach it. Oh, it's just a bit taller. Oh, there we go. Brilliant. So, sorry, I'll twist that round. So that's hornbeam. Now, as I said, flowering season for these guys is actually February to March. They are monoecious, which means the male and female flowers are on the same tree but different parts. Now, luckily I can see on here that the male catkins, where are we? So there we are. If I can try and zoom in on that bit there. So these are the sort of what's left of the male catkins, which would have been full of pollen. They would have done their job, released that in sort of the earlier months, so the air gets full of male pollen. And then the female parts, or the female flowers, you can just about see there in front. I can't point to it because I'm holding the twig at the moment, but there's another one, so there's two. So what will happen is, over months, these will get larger and they turn into these lovely dangling papery, can't describe them, but they're called samaras, which is just the type of sort of fruit that these trees produce. Very distinct, very different with their seed production compared to beech trees. But like I said, that's probably a better view of the leaves and the twigs. As I said, as for the buds are very similar to beech, but beech trees are more sort of pointed, like sharp torpedoes. The buds aren't quite like that, but very similar to beech trees, so I can see why people often mistake these. They are very similar trees. A few other cool facts about hornbeam. The Old English horn used to mean hard, and beam, I believe, was wood. So I'll double check those facts, but basically it was referred to as the hard tree because the wood, when it's cut and treated, was a very tough wood at the time, used for flooring, I think even used for like chopping blocks, cogs for windmills, that sort of thing. So it had many uses. The wood does burn very well, I'm told. So like I say, it was only a very short review. If I'd have done it a month before, you'd have actually got to see the male catkins with all the pollen, but unfortunately now you've sort of seen them when they've done their job, and they'll just drop off to the ground. And we can have a look at the ground, because although the council have mowed the lawn, grass, sorry, sounds very American then, you might see what's left of some of the male catkins. I mean, I think actually if you look in the ground, you can see what's left, and there'd have been hundreds of thousands. Again, all of that goes back into the ground, breaks down, and then all those nutrients get reabsorbed. So like I say, nothing gets wasted in nature. It's very nice, isn't it, as well? But yeah, that concludes a short review of hornbeam. Yeah, I really do like this tree. It's been a great one to study. I've been studying this for about 2.5 years now, so I know it fairly well. And you can see there's a couple of branches that are broken, but then it looks like that looks like a clean saw cut that I can see. But yeah, this has done very well over the time. Yeah, an absolute treat to see. So I think that concludes the review of hornbeam. So if you could leave any comments or feedback, that would be fantastic.